Alright, so this video, I'm kind of going to talk about something a little bit different. Since this game, honestly, we kind of just run through these guys. I'm not really sure what their deal was. But anyway, I decided to discuss team composition and how to pick your team. Basically, you want to try to the one thing I've noticed that a lot of people when they do arrange teams, because we do a lot of arranged team 5v5s, is teams just sometimes pick willy nilly, and a lot of times they just pick. That's kind of a weird word to use, but anyway, they try to pick for roles, and they're not always considering how it meshes with the team. And that's always a key factor. Also another key factor is, are you good with that champion? So the first and foremost, when you're picking your team, you want to make sure that you keep in mind who plays what roles the best, or who plays what champions the best. For example, our Kennen Talon, pretty much, he's our Kennen player. He plays him extremely well, really good mid. So that character and that role are pretty much immediately taken. So we've got a really good AP carry, who's our mid. That leaves 4 other slots to fill. And of course those characters are your tanks, your AD carry, maybe your support, whatever you feel like you want to have. So basically from there you kind of you fill in characters for this comp. I actually really like playing with Shen, because generally he's a very good all-arounder tank, and I'm really good with him. And in general, tank choices for this game, if I really wanted to, I could go with like a Garen, or like an Alistar, or just some random tank. And still be reasonably okay, but obviously because Shen is one of my better tanks, and because his moveset allows us to catch a lot of people, because I can hold, depending on how they're lined up, I can hold an entire team down at most, and allow our AoEs to kind of catch them all. That's the other big thing, is when you consider your damagers. Do you have a large number? Do you have some AoE in your team? Because you definitely want some, unless your team is immensely good at focus targeting, and then you run low cooldown single target champs that can switch immensely fast. That strategy doesn't really work so well, because you have to be very good at switching, and you also have to be sure that if any of them get CC'd, you still have good damage. So here, to give an example of like this particular comp and why it's... Oh, there you see the Amumu whiffing on his bandage toss. So looking at the opposing comp, they have Nidalee, Gangplank, Amumu, Irelia, Karma. Their mid options were really would have come down to Nidalee, or Gangplank. I like Nidalee more for mid. I don't really like Gangplank as a mid really at all, but that's okay. So here you see us just tearing these guys apart. Excuse me, mouth is a little bit dry. So Karma mid, not necessarily the best option. They probably, if their team wasn't confident about being able to mid the character that they're playing, maybe they're new with them or whatever, you want to make sure you have someone that can play that role. A good example in this particular game, they went with basically their range carry was really going to be Gangplank, who is okay. He's pretty decent. This game's a little bit older. This is before I think before the second buff to him, where he's got the level 1 slow. But in general, comp wise, they have a pretty okay amount of damage, but most of their burst is really going to be on a single target for the most part. I mean, they have Karma, who can do a little bit of AoE damage. You've got Amumu's ult to hold everyone down, but that, his ult's not really a serious damage move. So generally, they're the kind of team that would need to switch targets very, very fast. And there you see them just kind of make a mistake staying there that entire time, just letting us nail them down. And anyway, so I guess I should kind of get back onto composition. So the other thing you want to weigh in your composition, at least something that I definitely consider a lot, is making sure that your team functions and is strong, is reasonably strong in all parts of the game. What I mean by that is that you have an okay early game. You know, you mix up your early game and your late game champs. And you're not running all late games. I actually have a 3v3 game that I'll put up later that is basically an all late games champ game, with the exception of the character I'm playing, but I was playing tank in that game. And that's just bad. There you see a really interesting flash. I think I die here. She gets me there. It was a little bit of a bad play on my part, but you know, it gives us free time to hit this turret. You know, the lane's completely clear. In general, team comp also comes down